Hi all, right back with more enemy action Kharkov, German Soul. This is part 64 and that's the Soviet Impulse, quite an important one, so yeah, I've come back tonight to try and get this done. Thought it was maybe getting a bit late, but so we'll see. It's a sort of late night episode. Yeah, I feel like this one's quite important. What we're going to draw here, worried about this getting taken, and well, possibly these undispersing. But not only that, I suppose what we're going to do next turn, because the cards that we've got in our hand are, yeah, it's a bit of a struggle to decide what to do. So part of me hopes that none of these things happen, but we're starting to ask for an awful lot now. Anyway, right, let's get across and get the two Soviet cards. Right, here we go. We're probably about halfway through, in fact, maybe just over halfway through the deck now. Right, here we go. Oh, what was I saying about that? Stavka confused. There you go. Right, what we're going to get to go along with it though. Okay. Right, so this looks interesting. I have no idea what's going to go down here. No primary cards. However, the Stavka card is a 5. Varnish front. Oh god. Yeah, and the event we place a forward support marker, but they've got them both on the board, so yeah, this doesn't look good, does it? So unless it gets used for tank brigade and assault coordination, then we're probably going to have a third tank activation. We're going to lose Sumy. Mind you, what is this going to do? We're on turn 5 to 7. Activate army with most supplied units on map and in reserve box plus stat units. Well, I'm not sure what this. Well, you kind of. That could be third tank in itself, to be honest. Yeah, that's a horrible couple of cards. Okay. Well, the event has forward support on the auxiliary card, and because we've got both support markers on the map, it says does not apply if less than 2 units would be in support, or if both forward support markers are in play, or if the Soviet deck is empty. So both forward support markers are in play, so we're not going to trigger that event. So the card's going to stay where it is, and we're going to have a look at what Stavka's going to get up to. Okay, so Stavka says, actually, let me open the book. So yeah, well, on the card, we're on turn 5, so it's between 5 and 7. Activate army with most supplied units on map and in reserve box plus stat units. Now the Soviets have no units that are not in supply. There is 2 First Guards army units in the reserve box, and there's 1 third tank unit in the reserve box. They have no eliminated units either. But I got the impression that the third tank had slightly more units. There was a couple of reserves recently. I think it was 1 for each though, wasn't it? Popov and I mean, yeah, I get the feeling this is going to be third tank, but let me see what it says in the rule book. So it says activate the army with the most units. This is on turns 5 to 7. Activate the army with the most units. count only on-map supplied units and units in the reserve box. So that's what we have to check for the most. And then, if activated, include the army's unsupplied units and include units in the same front stacked with units of that army. And then, if tied, activate the army with a supplied unit closest to hex 1923. Okay, so we're probably looking between, I'm pretty sure we're looking between 3rd Tank and Popov. So we've got to find out who's got the most units, and we're counting on map supplied units and units in the reserve box. Right, let me have a look. I'll zoom out as far as I can get, but things are quite spread about now. I did think about changing. No, I think I've got to stop the video on that to change that wide angle thing. But I don't think we need that. Right, let me go and count what we've got for 3rd Tank and Popov then. Yeah, I figured as much. It was going to be the 3rd Tank. My counting is, and this is counting the one reserve that 3rd Tank have in the reserve units box. So I'm counting 12. So the one reserve, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then for Popov, we've got no reserves. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, that's not. 6, 7 away across there. And then there's 3 that are dispersed here for pen. I don't think I can find any more. So yeah, so we're going to activate 3rd Tank Army, and there's no units that are unsupplied within the army, but if there's any units in the same front that are stacked with 3rd Tank Army units, they'll activate as well. So yeah, we've just wasted that core rouse deployment, haven't we? Well. Okay, so it's 3rd Tank Army and any units stacked with it from the same front. I don't think there are actually any stacked units. I don't think we've got any with any kind of crossover actually at all. No. Yeah, but even when I was counting them there. So we do have the reserve. I'll bring it down. Now, we've got to remember that all in support attacks receive the NKVD combat tactic with this card as well. So there's that on top of all the other stuff. Right, okay, let me get the units activated. Right, okay, that's all 3rd Tank units activated. There wasn't any units stacked, but I'm really annoyed that I made this move now. That was a waste, really. I mean, I knew I had the Vornes front card to come and the Stavka card, and okay, I didn't read into what was going to happen with Stavka. I suppose now the knowledge in my head will tell me that between turns 5 and 7, then 3rd Tank are going to have more units, unless of course I've been eliminated, but so yeah, and the Vornes front card would have been activating the 3rd Tank as well. So in actual fact, we could have 2 activations of 3rd Tank here. But I mean, 1 activation is enough for that unit to move into there, into Sume, so yeah, I couldn't have deployed it in there though, could I? And I know I couldn't have deployed it in the city. I couldn't have deployed it in there. And even if I did, no, that would have worked. But I wasn't allowed to, was I? Because that is within 3. That would have been 4 hexes away from that. It's just that if it was deployed there, I don't think he could move straight in, could he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he couldn't get in if I was able to get even deploying that hex. But no, you weren't allowed to grant, so Yeah, I would have had to been 5 away and deployed it strategically. Right, okay. Come on, it's happened, right? You were, well, I suppose the one thing is, Prayadovka, none of these cards are going to activate Popov, so we'll just need to, I don't know, do something with that, something else with that unit. He's not going to be able to take on the armoured unit. No. Right, right, the furnace front objective marker is away. So we are just going to activate, but we're 9.22, aren't we? 9.22 Soviet movement methods B. Yeah, use these movement methods from game turn 5 if the active front subjective marker has been removed from play. Okay, so movement method 1 is take a VP hex, enter an empty German town or city, move to an empty German rule in town city unless targeted exclusively for the inactive front. Right, there's no other options. The only VP hexes that Vornes front don't control are Kharkov, which is occupied, and Sumy. So that's not much about. And it would be in descending order, but this unit can't reach. This unit can reach. So 1, 2, and 3 into Sumy. Alright, I need another control marker, ownership marker. I just took a garrison off there again. So in we go into Sumy. Another 2 victory points, up to 19. Yeah. That just feels like it was a waste. Yeah. The only thing I'm wondering about is can we go along and maybe try and surround that, but I don't know. Yeah. Right, and like I say, there's no other Soviet front targeted VP hexes. Well, apart from, what are the map edge ones? Yeah, well, actually there's 2 map edge hexes that aren't targeted for anything away along there. And a city that's not targeted for anything, but okay, so that's the only movement we're going to get with movement method 1, I think. So yeah, actually, restrictions. No, he's not. Well, can he trace supply though? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, yeah. What do you know? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. What's happened there? Yeah, we've got a problem here. This road. Don't tell me this guy's not. Nah, hang on. I think I maybe broke some restriction here by moving the unit out of there. I don't know what unit it was. I removed it. Well, actually, it's this guy here, isn't it? That could be quite lucky if that's what I've done, and I've noticed this just now. Then, although does the removal stop that? What is it? 9 point? No, it's not 9.4. 9.6 maybe. Yeah. Prerequisites. Removal of the unit. Removal of the unit would not cause an R Soviet unit to become nearly surrounded. or unable to trace supply. Bingo. So, right, where was he again? Thing is, could he have been able to trace supply from where he was? I can't remember where he was. Was he here? I want to say he was here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, I'm one short. I guess what I'm trying to find out here is, yeah, I'm saying that this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I needed this unit. This unit in here has been removed and broke a restriction because these 2 units, this guy, wherever he was, yeah, because we need something in this hex to be able to trace supply along this road and then into this hex and back out again. And it was there before, and the removal of that's broke that. So that's been a mistake. You can see it was probably an easy mistake to make because removing that unit didn't look like it was doing anything like that, did it? The good thing is, I think I can fix it by just putting the unit back in there. Right, give me a sec till I check things. I want to know where this guy was as well as when that guy moved out. Okay, give me a sec. Yeah, okay, as I had thought, that I have made a mistake there. That unit was there, so hang on, he's active. It was back in part, what was this? This is 64. It wasn't in 63, it was in 62 we were finishing off 3rd tank. 61 must have started them, and I think part 62 we done the attack checks, and this unit ended up not doing anything, locking in that hex there. And I've not noticed how important that hex is because, as you can see, now this unit needs to trace onto this road through this Soviet unit, and then back out again. That's where he gets his supply trace. Not just him, this guy as well. He can only trace up the road because these guys can't reach this hex, and they can't stretch up to the other road that's under the Stavka card here, with seven hexes. So they need this road to carry their supply, and they did have that, and I bounced this guy back to the reserves. So that shouldn't have happened. I'll put a wee note in the header regarding that. In fact, well, I should take a note of it just now. So it was in part 60. What did I say? This is 64, 63. Say 61 or 62. Right, hang on. Yeah, okay, took a wee note of that. It's in part 62, so there'll be a bit added in the header. That's still not been uploaded. I'm way behind. I'm way behind on stuff. It turns out I didn't get my long train journey today after all, due to certain things. So all that build up of some stuff to watch has been kind of wasted. So now I'm going to have to have a serious catch up. I just wanted to see if it was worded the same in the player aid, because that's what I was using for that. Yeah, no, it's just the same. Removal would not cause Soviet unit to be nearly surrounded or unable to trace supply. Yeah, okay. And that would have done that. That guy bouncing back to reserves broke that supply trace for these 2 units. So, yeah, I'm going to put that back. And that then means that this guy can still make this move. Now we've took the time, we've added the victory points on, and he can still go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 onto this road which takes them up, and still you can still get your supply trace. So all is good. Well, for the Soviets anyway. Yeah. Okay. Well, that is everything done. Movement method 1 from 9.22. Yeah, it's when I was checking open supply line. I guess that's what something triggered there, saying, right, hang on, do we have any issues with supply? So, yeah, again, and well, certainly over this side, I don't think there's like issues the other side. Well, we've not moved their units yet. We've deployed them, fair enough, but these units should all be, as long as I'm not doing daft things like that and making mistakes with the AI, removing units to break their supply, these can all trace to this road. This is fine. Yeah, there's no issues with any units in here for tracing supply. You know, these guys here can trace onto this road, or they can trace onto this road, and they're fine. Okay, movement method 3 is to Soviet VP hex. Move to a Soviet VP hex target for the active front. That is empty, garrisoned, or occupied by only one step. 1 or 2 steps in Kharkov, into which the German unit's proximal German supply is traceable. Well, yeah, actually, yeah, that got brought up when I moved this unit in, that I realised that this was now occupied by only one step. Yeah, he might come across then. Right, move to a Soviet VP hex targeted for the active front. This is targeted for Voronezh front, which is the active front. That is empty, garrisoned, well it is not, or occupied by only one step, and to which a German unit is proximate. Well, yeah, we're adjacent, so we're proximate. Yeah, and right there reading that starts something sinking in about my question from yesterday. German unit is proximate to a Soviet VP hex. It's got a unit in it. Yeah, that is us proximate, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Sometimes my head, like I say, scrambles things up, and I sometimes wonder where I go sometimes. Okay, never mind. Yeah, so this is only occupied by one hex. The other issues are, this is two steps. This isn't occupied. Hang on then. If this guy moves away, there's trouble with that, because he made a strange move down here, didn't he? So he might not be able to come across to here. Yeah, just so I remember that bit too then, I think. And this has got 3 steps. Admittedly, these are all armoured units, so they'd like to have infantry join them, which is part B of that method 3, isn't it? But I'm looking at part A just now. However, again, I'm going to break the restriction by doing that, am I? Because I'm not going to cause a German unit to be proximate to this, but I'm going to cause German supply to be traceable to it. If I move this unit away somewhere. Hang on. Let's mark the hexes in. Let's just say he moves away. Well, I'm thinking, he's wanting to come down here to do what we're trying to do there. But as soon as I do that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. German supply is traceable with Valky, and it's because that unit's sitting there. And it was, yeah, we looked at it, it was a strange one, because he moved by movement arrows, and he just happened to be able to end in a hex that stopped, cause that's pretty tight for getting round. I mean, if I have to come around, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, I'd have to come around it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So while he's there, I cannot reach the map edge. Going this way doesn't help. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it makes it worse. And we can't get to the road. This is the road hex here that we need to reach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're 2 hexes short of that. But if this guy moves away, he can straight down and trade supplies. So okay, he's not going to get relief from that. Then well, I don't think. I don't think this guy could reach, but if he could, he's exposing that as well. So yeah, that's not going to happen, is it? And empty garrison towards German units, proximate German supplies traceable. Yeah, and we did look at this German unit, but no. Remember, garrisons don't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he was always one short as well, wasn't he? This guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's not a German unit proximate to it or German supply traceable to it. No. And same with Zimiev as well, because that garrison he has to go around now. Oh, Grant, you've messed up there. Yeah, I've messed that one up, haven't I? Why did I not see that? Here was me being clever. Right, well, because these were the garrisons that Lawrence has spotted that I'd missed. So I put these back in, and when I'd put these back in, where did I move the unit? I moved the unit to here. Oh, you're going to start making a mess of things, Grant. And let's take this garrison out of the way. That was before this garrison was here. He was in here. And I said I can't move him by movement method 4, which was that, moving adjacent to the surrounded target, because this guy could just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into Zimiev, right? So what I ended up doing was I thought this move brought him 1 hex closer to his objective marker. Which is debatable. No, that is right, so I must have counted it. And that was movement method 11. These are 9.21 movement methods. I know I'm jumping about here, but that's where my head's taking me. And if he moved there, this guy was not proximate because he had to then try and go through this hex. He couldn't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because zone of control. Okay, so that's where I left it. And then Lawrence pointed out that these garrisons could have been placed because this unit was doing proximate. So I put this garrison here, and for some reason then decided, oh, if that garrison's there, I could have moved that unit with movement method 4, moving adjacent. That's a lot of rubbish, Grant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just move around. The garrison doesn't exert a zone of control while it's just sitting there. It just means I can't go through it. So I'm going to adjust this again and put it there. So that would have been a movement method 11 move. And now that's not proximate. Right, I'm going to have to take a note of that now as well. What, that was just in the last part, I think, was it? Oh, God. Yeah, maybe I should have left this till the morning, eh? Okay, so that's two things I picked up, and both were in part 62. So the removal of this unit was in part 62, that shouldn't have happened, and then me trying to fix this situation shouldn't have actually happened as well, because that makes, I don't know what I was thinking there. So right, I will put a couple of comments in the headers for that part. But in some ways good that I've spotted them just now. Yeah. Whether I should have spotted them at the time. Well, you know what? I should have spotted this one at the time, because that's just daft. However, this one, I think that could have caught a few folk out, because it's removing supply from units that are way down here. But you can see it's an important hex because it's a junction that takes them away that way. Okay, moving on. Yeah, so I was still trying to open supply line, wasn't I? And that's why these things are all being... No, I wasn't. I was moving to Soviet VP hexes. Yeah, okay, and we realised we couldn't do this because that was opening that up. Yeah, it's going to start getting a bit trickier now, Grant, I think. No issues with the rest, though. And yeah, obviously I glanced at that and seen an issue. This one's fine, you know, there's no issues with this. Yeah, that's fine. The rest's okay. And we don't have one step as well. Right, but part B of that is to try and get infantry units into a VP hex occupied only by armoured units. But they're all just too far away, I think. Obviously, this guy's just moved into there, but he would have moved into there before him if he could have, so he can't. This is an infantry unit. This is an armoured unit, but I mean, this is another armoured unit. And this is only occupied by an armoured unit, but again, there's no infantry within range. So yeah, no, we're not getting that either. So moving on. Yeah, because I realise that just took an awful lot of time, all that. Carry on. So I'm not going to get everything done here that I wanted to do. Avoid surround. If nearly surrounded in a non-VP hex, move to a hex in which the unit is not nearly surrounded. I suppose the only place to maybe look here, but no. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, I can't get up round this guy. Yeah. No. These are the only two German units that are near any third tank units. Well, apart from Kharkov, but yeah, they're all surrounded anyway. Oh, wait a minute. I've had another thought here. Yeah, I have had another thought. Just in time, I think. If this guy didn't move by anything, he would have built an IP. Because I remember no other units would have built an IP. Well, you can see there's no third tank units that have IPs. The only other unit that didn't make a move was this guy. I seem to recall that. So we had this guy and this guy. We ended up bouncing this guy back to reserves, which he shouldn't have done because of that supply thing. However, he would have built that IP. So more stuff coming out. Right, okay. Right, moving on. Avoid surround, right, we don't need to do that. Adjacent to German VP hex. Move to hex adjacent to a German VP hex targeted for the active front. and in which the moving unit would not be near surrounded. Okay, and then we'll move on to Soviet desperation. However, they're sitting at 19 victory points after that take of the city, so they've got to have less than 19 victory points to be desperate. That's not a good thing then, is it? We've not got them desperate anymore. That can't be good. Okay, so I think this is a time when Kharkov might get some more units round about, because adjacent to German VP Hex, move to Hex adjacent to German VP Hex targeted for the active front. The only German VP Hex targeted for the Vornes front, well, yeah, no, the only one is Kharkov. Yeah. There's 2 or 3 targets that are not targeted for any front. Zimyev's Soviet owned, it was targeted for both fronts, but the only left target is Kharkov. So in ascending order, and we've got Unit 1 here, and yeah, actually he was a unit that moved proximate, didn't he? He did, yes, he did. So Unit 1 in ascending order, move to Hex adjacent to German VPX target from the front, right, okay. We don't need to check preferences. Okay, so and this is the German VP Hex. This is not targeting the German unit, right? So he can move. Well, he can only move into there as his target, can't he? Yeah, that's where his movement method wants to go, because we cannot get away around to here or here. I would very much doubt. 1, 2, yeah, I'm not even going to go there. So, and this is going to be, this is only Hex he can reach that's adjacent to Kharkov. Right, so he's going to move into there. However, he's then, and he's not, yeah, nothing's broken. Now, that's a point, this is a junction as well, but tracing supply up here into here is all very well, but we can't trace into there, so he's, yeah, because this Hex was missing, that's fine. So no restriction broken, but he's now moving adjacent to 3 stacks of German units, and none of them are the specific target, as we've now known. It's the VP, it's the actual Hex we're targeting, it's not the German units. We've moved adjacent to 3 stacks of German units, so we can 9.25 round any of the 3 of them. Yeah, okay, I'm pretty sure we can only reach the 3 hexes. I might have counted things a bit weirdly there, but he was here. It would have been 1, 2, 3, 4 breaking zone of control, like the 1 to break the control and 3 to move into the woods, and then 1 more movement back into along the road. So for 5. So there's these 3 9.25 options. Cause surround, no, they're all surrounded anyway. Operational and that. Yeah, sorry, that one's first. And then cause surround, no. Hex and Soviet support, they're all in support, yes they are. Hex not occupied by or adjacent to a Soviet unit, adjacent to the same German unit. That would be occupied by, that would be adjacent, and that would be not. So yeah, he is actually going to move to the Hex that he wanted to move to. Okay, good stuff. Right, that's Unit 1. Right, Unit 2 is away down here. He cannot reach Kharkov. We're trying to move adjacent to Kharkov. That's basically what we're doing here. So Unit 2 doesn't work. I thought we had a Unit 3 somewhere. Yeah, we do. He's here. Well, yeah, he can move adjacent. Is he breaking anything? No, I think he can move into this hex. Or maybe this hex. Hang on. Right, so he can reach this hex or this hex. And we need to tie break this because this hex would be adjacent to 2 stacks of German units and this hex would only be adjacent to 1. So we need to tie break that first. This is where I'm at. And I'm pretty sure that's got to be right. It must be. So let's tie break between the two. So there's no objective marker in play. An empty hex. Oh, there you go. Right, okay. So he can move 1, 2 breaking zone of control, 3, and then 4, 5, 6 into the woods. He was from there. Let's remove that one because that wasn't a choice anymore. So from there, has he broke anything? These units still can't move here or here or here. Yeah, they're still surrounded. That's fine. So then we need 9.25 that. So he could have... No, he can't stay where he is because 9.25 is only around this unit. He's moved. This is his move where he wants to go. So he can either stay there or possibly adjust to there. That's right. And he can't get further around. Well, he's going to stay empty hex. Right, done. Because if he went in there, that's occupied. It's going to stay empty hex. Is that right? There's no surround issues yet. Yeah, okay. So Kharkov's actually getting a bit of a challenge now. Right, moving on. Right, okay, I've just found something that's a bit weird. Right, that's Unit 4, he's already moved. Have we not got a Unit 6? Yeah. Unit 6 is in here now. He's not moved. But if he was to move up to Kharkov, he can't reach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He can't reach up to Kharkov, but then that would expose that. So we're going to have to remember that, but I think we will. Unit 6, there's not a Unit 7, but then I've looked at Unit 8, and he's got 7 movement. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is going to be adjacent to Kharkov. And the fact that it's surrounded by Popov units makes me think that, yeah, I mean, we can't get a German unit proximate because it's surrounded. Well, no. Yeah. The German supply can't be traced to what one's that? Krasnograd? Yeah, Krasnograd. So I think he's going to move in his 3 steps. There's 2 steps already in there. I think he's going to go back to Kharkov. Move to a hex adjacent to German VPX targeted for that to front, and in which the moving unit would not be nearly surrounded. Yeah, they don't need to worry about nearly surrounded. I mean, well, yeah, I suppose we need to look at this guy. 1, 2, 3. Because this Popov unit's here, I don't think... Yeah. If this Popov unit hadn't been there, then maybe there was a concern because you could went 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into there surrounding what's in there. But I mean, if I put that guy in there, that does not surround anything, does it? Or does it? Or does it, Grant? It does. Whoa. Wow. I think it does, doesn't it? So this guy can't actually move in here, can he? Who would have thought that? Wow, I'm finding some really weird things. And I'm wondering, it's a late night episode, I've had a couple of beers, so I'm starting to wonder if I'm thinking this through properly or not. Yeah, I mean, me moving Unit 1 into that was the first move, wasn't it? Because he's Unit 1. And he was, what you say, he was here, wasn't he? One, two, three, four, five. If I move that third corps unit in there, now hang on a second here though. Hang on a second. Are we not restricted? Mind you, I'm only checking proximity here. Is it not right that we are restricted to move in a hex that we can't trace supply from? Or am I just thinking of another game? Well, we know that the Soviets are restricted to that, so maybe this is not the case. Hang on. Yeah, okay, I'm right here. I'm not saying where this unit's trying to move to. It might be, yeah, page 29, 10.5, German movement supply trace limits. A German unit can't end its movement or advance after combat in a hex from which it can't trace supply. The exception is a German unit that starts its move or advance in a hex from which it can't trace supply and is unable to move or advance the hex from which it can trace supply is not bound by this restriction. This limit applies only during German activations, not when checking German proximity at other times. Aha, well, there you go then. So it actually covers that. Very good. So it's not concerned with me checking proximity here, because it's quite possible that if I was to move that unit there, I don't think I would be able to trace supply. Now, he can trace supply from where he is. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 onto this road. However, if he was to move here, you can see that's going to be too far away. But that sentence there covers that. This limit applies only during German activations, not when checking German proximity at other times. And what we're doing right now is checking if I'm proximate to a hex that would cause nearly surround. Is that right? I'm starting to get lost now. I think so. Is it 9.2? No, it's not. It's adjacent to German VP hex. Move to a hex adjacent to a German VP hex targeted for the active front, in which the moving unit would not be nearly surrounded. Well, I think with him moving there, and we move there, he's got Zok, 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 and then this guy here, zone of controls here, and surrounds that guy. You can't make that move. Where was he then? I think he was here. Yeah, because we just went out and in. I'm just wondering if this guy's could have caused more trouble though, because him moving here, well, in fact, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we can't get further down, can we? But is this guy not surrounded? Yeah. So this guy here is surrounded. So he would have moved from somewhere. I want to say he moved from here maybe to here, and he would have been nearly surrounded. But when was that? Because this, yeah. Right, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I knew when I drew the two cards that we weren't going to get right through this tonight. I thought I was getting somewhere, but we're finding lots of little mistakes, which is good and bad. So if I'm moving unit 1 back, I need to move unit 3 back. I want to say it was here. Yeah, he was here. So let's go back to, we've took the VP hex. Yeah, because I need to call it a night. Whether this is, that's 50 minutes, Jesus. Right, I need to, yeah, I'm going to come back tomorrow and try and record a bit more on top of this, I think. But you never know. This might be the end of a part. So we moved that with movement method 1. And then 2 was open supply line, which I don't think that made us see a couple of errors. And 3 was to Soviet VP hex, which we were trying to do but realised that, yeah, okay. And then 4 was avoid surround. Okay. If nearly surrounded. So, I mean, no, he can't get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. Yeah, I need to check on this guy because this guy right now is nearly surrounded. I know he's not part of the active units just now though, so it might have been that doesn't matter. Okay. Right, I'm gonna put an end to it tonight. I'll leave that blue cube there just to sort of remind me of where I'm at. But hopefully I'll come back and add the rest of the movement onto this part tomorrow at some point, and then probably again have to go to another part to check for, because there could be a chance of, well, I don't know if this guy can't go in there. Maybe Kharkov's not. Well, maybe this other stack might get attacked, possibly. Right, yeah, but this definitely needs a fresh head because we've found 2 or 3 problems already in this. So I'm going to just stop just now and come back to it tomorrow, guys. All right. So I'll leave it as possible. Hopefully not the end of the part, but it might be. I'll just make that decision tomorrow at some point. Okay. Cheers. Hi all. Right, hopefully this is a continuation of part 64. If I find it dragging on, it could be the start of part 65. But I think I'll be able to put a little bit onto the end of 64 here, because I think I need to, because I'm making a mess of things here, haven't I? I went to my bed last night and I was thinking about this situation. I thought, what are you talking about, Grant? You know, I mean, I've got to remember that garrisons do stop proximity. So there's not a gap through here for this guy to trace supply, and he also can't get round about. I was just totally blanking that. Yeah, it's really been making a mess of things here, I think. So I think we can take that cube away, because my consideration there had been this guy being nearly surrounded, and I hadn't noticed it, but he's not nearly surrounded. And even if he might have been at the time when we didn't have these garrisons here, because admittedly I missed them, and that's the ones Warren's pointed me out to, they should have been there. So my guess is that these guys have always been safe from the nearly surround part. I'm also now going to put this unit back here yet again, because he would have made this move, because this unit is not proximate. I cannot go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into Zemiev, because I can go 1 and then I've got to stop. So I cannot trace proximity in there. If I'd been adjacent to the actual garrison, yes, because activate the unit, drop. If you're adjacent to a garrison, you don't consider it there, because when you activate the unit, it's going to go away. But I'm not adjacent to it, I'm there. So this guy, he tried to make movement 11, then movement 4, then movement 11 again. Well, he's back to movement 4, moving adjacent to his surrounded unit. And yeah, and none of these guys are in nearly surround status, because we can't get around. I can't get through here to trace proximity. I could get away around here, but I can't reach Zemiev, and even if I get around here, I can't get in between these two because there's the unit and the garrison there. You know, I'd have to stop as soon as I move adjacent to the garrison, even when tracing proximity. Yeah. No, in trace it doesn't affect. I'm pretty sure that is my understanding. As if I'm trying to trace supply, so I think that was maybe what started me down that road. Thinking, oh well, I can just trace by that. I know I can't go through the garrison, but I can trace past it. But not when I'm tracing proximity. When I'm tracing supply, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, it doesn't stop me from that. At least that's my understanding. So hopefully I've got that bit right. Now, yeah, my worry is that I've been looking at things in that way, and maybe I've blundered elsewhere. But I'd like to think not. There's not been much for. I mean, this is the only unit of concern, and now that we know that he's kind of locked in anyway, I already said that, didn't I? When I was talking about moving Third Corps, he can't move far. You know, I mean, he could if he moves 1 hex there, 1 hex there, or a couple of hexes there, then he's moving adjacent to garrisons. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he could involve by coming across here and getting some involvement, or his best bet might be. It might just be sit tight, to be honest. But the 6th Army might come across and get him. But anyway, why are we going on about him? Right, let's get back to where we were then. So we were on movement methods. I had done movement method 1 because this unit had taken Sumy. And I think that's where I then reset things back to. Everybody else looks like they're activated, but haven't made any movement. Now, movement method 2 was the open supply line. No issues with that. So move on to Soviet VP Hex. No issues with that. Well, we have some issues, but and not with the first part, movement method 3, but the second part. Which is if Soviet infantry units trying to relieve these armoured units that are in these three VP hexes, but there's not an infantry unit proximate to be able to go and do that. So move method 4 was avoid surround. If nearly surrounded, well, no, they're not, and even when we start looking here now, you can see that was me just having a daft moment, another daft moment. So then we had adjacent to German VP hex. Okay, so that's where we were at. And these are going in ascending order. And if you recall, we actually moved Unit 1 into this hex, didn't we? You had to go out and in. And then it's when I realised, wrongly, that this guy was in nearly surround because I could bring this unit through. Well, I can't do that. So let's just move quickly on and forget about the nearly surround and move these in ascending order. And he can only reach this hex. We're not getting right round. He's wanting to move adjacent to Kharkov, move to hex adjacent to German VP hex, targeted for the active front, and to which the moving unit would not be nearly surrounded. And that's what got me in all sorts of a mess. Now, Kharkov is the only VP, the only Vornes front VP target left that's German controlled, German owned. So that is the only one that he can consider going to. He's going to move breaking zone of control 1 and then an R3 into the woods, so that's 4, and then 5 into there. He is now adjacent to Kharkov. Unit 3 was next, and I believe we got him down to there, didn't we? He wants to do the same. He wants to get adjacent to Kharkov. He is not adjacent to Kharkov. So I don't think he can reach down there, can he? Well, actually he could reach here then, couldn't he? But then this is the empty hex, isn't it? Yeah, he can only reach the 2 hexes. However, we do need to tie-break that first. That's what I remember, because if this was the option, he'd have 2 German units he was adjacent to. If this was the option, he'd only have 1. And if this was the option, there's a chance he could stay where he was, right? So, however, that is an empty hex. He's moving to. Well, hang on. Yeah, it's tiebreaker's grand. So we've not got an objective marker yet, and preference B is an empty hex. So this is not an empty hex. So that's not going to be where he's going to rotate, he's going to go from there to there, moving 1, 2, breaking zone of control, 3, and then 3 back into the woods for 6 movement. He would then consider 9.25. Now, he's not broke any restrictions, these guys are still surrounded. 9.25 would be between that and that. Remember, just round this German unit, not round this one, because that's where we went. It wouldn't be this, because this is not an empty hex. This would be an empty hex, so he's going to stay in his hex that his movement method wanted him in. And then moving on, we have Unit 4's already moved, that's the one down in Sumy. Unit 6, well, he has some strange issues, doesn't he? Yeah, he's stopping supply, German supply trace to that. He can't reach Kharkov anyway, but if he could, he'd be opening up the supply trace to that. So let's forget about him. Unit 8, I think, is next. Yeah, and I seem to recall this guy could come across, couldn't he? I think this is where I started finding my issues though, wasn't it? Or was there some other reason he would not move? Can't remember now. Unit 8 want to move adjacent to Kharkov. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can move exactly into that hex. These 3 steps, but there's only 2 steps in the hex. Why was I having an issue? Or was it just then that I started finding problems? I can't think of the reason why he wouldn't want to do that. It's not, I mean, supply is definitely not traceable to it, because we've got Soviet units either side, and the German units definitely not proximate to it. So it's not breaking surround on anything. Yeah, I can only assume that's when I realised that I thought things were wrong. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you can only reach that one hex, but now there's going to be a bit of a force here. Yeah, and he's left this empty, but there's not any issues that I can see. Because that was Unit 8. Unit 9 is the infantry unit there. So yes, he's got a couple of options actually, hasn't he? Okay, so Unit 9 next, and it can reach these 2 hexes adjacent to Kharkov. So tiebreakers are not empty this time, we don't have an objective marker. And our closest to support, they're both in support, so it's highest numbered, so it would actually be that one. No, am I lying? Yeah, you're lying, Grant. Oh yeah? Yeah, they're both on the same row, aren't they? Yeah, so it's this one. So he would move in here. But he then could consider, let me leave that on there to rebalance an act again. He could consider 9.25 in any of these 3, or you know what? He was there, 1, 2, 3. He could actually come round to here. Because remember, it's a German hex I'm looking at here, I'm targeting a German hex, not a German unit. So that's where he moves to. He's adjacent to both these German stacks of units, so, and he started from there. So he's going to 9.25 between the 4 options. None of them are empty, no. We don't have an objective marker, let's say. And our closest to support, no. No, hang on, Grant, you're looking at tiebreakers here. Sorry, this should be 9.25. Right, operational limit, cause surround, no. The units are all surrounded. Hex in Soviet support, yeah, they're all in support. This one's just inside. Well, actually, we've got a support marker there as well, which is just off camera, but Enter garrison hex. No, they're all contained units. A hex not occupied by an active unit. They all are occupied by active units. So that's going to go to tiebreakers, and it's going to come right down to highest numbered hex again. So this is one of these odd ones, I think. Well, it's got to be broken up somehow, because they're all on the 08 roll column. This is on the 09, so this is going to be the highest hex. And he could have moved from here 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay, so I believe he's going to come down to this hex here then. Going to adjust with 9.25. So like I say, his adjustment would be from there 1, 2, and then 3 into here. I'll put him underneath. So I've not dealt with that guy yet. That was from there. There's not any problems. One of the ones that you just feel a little bit sort of wondering about though. But that's what we got back, and I'm pretty sure we're doing that right. And like it got mentioned recently, I think it might have been John Brown talking about the fact that there's not many of the movement methods that end up specifically targeting the German unit. There are some, but not an awful lot. So the majority of the time when you're moving adjacent to multiple German units, you're not actually targeting any specific one of them. And my understanding that is the case there. We were only targeting that hex. We happened to then end up to be adjacent to 2, and we're 9.25 round about both of them. Okay. Right, that was 9. Right, we're up to the higher numbers now, I think. Just these ones scattered round about, innit? So we've got 23 here. He's on his own, that's just an IP marker underneath. Well, he's already adjacent to Kharkov. So he won't move unless moved by 9.25, and again he could consider both units. However, he's sitting in his empty hex, so I'm going to take a chance with that one and just say that that's him. He's going to lock in there, because any other hex would be occupied. So yeah, and 24 is up the top there. Well, he's already adjacent to Kharkov 2. Well, he's going to do the same, isn't he? He's already adjacent. He's going to lock in unless 9.25 wants to adjust them. However, because he's adjacent to both of these, he could consider that hex, couldn't he? In fact, no, we've got a pop-off unit here that's adjacent. Well, he's jumped about that much. We don't know where he is. No, I think he's in the right spot now. And I don't know, I mean, all that messing about, whether that messed up any other things I've done, but there's only so much I can take before I have to let things move on. Unless somebody specifically points something out that I did wrong and I can fix it, I will. But I think I'm past trying to think it through. To be honest, there's a lot of video footage I've still got to watch through though as well, and it could turn out that that'll bring some other issues or some of these issues to another place maybe. Okay, so we're going to 9.25. What is this unit 24, isn't it? So it would be between, well, it'd be between there. It's not going to be there though, it's going to be one of the empty hexes, isn't it? So yeah, 9.25's round. You can't get any further round. It won't be that one, so it'll be this empty hex or that one. Sorry, where are we? Hex and Soviet. Yeah, hex not occupied by or adjacent to Soviet unit, adjacent to the same German unit. And that's, I thought at first he might go there, but that's because I thought this guy was down here still. But if he moved there, they'd both be adjacent to that. So that doesn't work. Then it's an empty hex. They're both empty. Hex not occupied by an active unit. Both of them would be that. So tiebreakers. And of course it's going to be the highest numbered hex. So he's actually going to go in there as well then. So I'm not going to stay adjacent to Kharkov, but going to adjust into the highest numbered hex with tiebreakers. Again, nothing broken there. Right, Unit 26 as wanting to get adjacent to Kharkov. I don't think he can get in this way, can he? 1, 2, no he can't. Well, actually, can he get there at all? I don't think so. No. So 26 and... Ah, right, he's already moved. 26 cannot move adjacent to Kharkov. 27 will be able to. He will only have the choice of this hex. So he will move to that hex, and then 9.25 will bring him back to the empty hex. But he will not be marked as not moved, he'll be marked as moved. Because he actually moves in there with his movement method. 9.25 adjusts him back to the empty hex. Okay, that's 27. And then finally we've got 30, which is down here. Now he's got no danger of reaching Kharkov, so that's that. So I think that's just went through movement method 5. Now Soviet desperation would kick in here. If the Soviets have less than 19 victory points, we would move straight to movement method 11, but they're actually on 19 now with the take of that Sumy, so unfortunately. Right, so method 6, move into or toward operational limit. Skip if no active units are beyond operational limit, so we'll skip that just now. Cause surround, move to a hex that if occupied by the unit would cause an unsurrounded German unit to become surrounded and would not cause a moving unit to become nearly surrounded. No. No, none of the units, or even what we've got down here. We've got the extra Rouse unit down here now, but this guy's already moved. Yeah, it's not that this can come around the surround. He's got restrictions that would be broken there. And the nearest to these guys is probably the 3rd Corps unit, but we can't make one movement and surround that, so we're going to move on by. Adjacent to German unit, move to an unoccupied hex adjacent to German unit and not adjacent to Soviet unit, adjacent to the same German unit, and in which the moving unit would not be nearly surrounded. So we're going to see a lot of this nearly surrounded bit coming in now. And then if starting as the only Soviet unit adjacent to a given German unit and in a hex within the operational limit and not nearly surrounded, the unit does not move by this or any subsequent method. Okay. Worded a wee bit differently there, but I guess it just means the same thing. So in descending order, well in actual fact, Unit 30 is going to lock in here, isn't it? He's the highest number. He is in an unoccupied hex, adjacent to a German unit and not adjacent to a Soviet unit, adjacent to the same German unit. And he's not nearly surrounded, so he's going to lock in there unless 9.25 wants to alter him. Come on, Grant, 9.25 is not going to alter him. If he moves there, because then it exposes the town. If he moves there, it exposes the town. Yeah, I'm just going to take a chance for that one and say he's going to lock in right there. Because yeah, if I move there, this guy can go 1, 2, 3 into the town. And if I move there, he can go 1, 2, 3 into the town. Or German supply will be traceable to it as well, for that matter. Right, so next 26, I think. 26 doesn't look like he's satisfying the method because he's adjacent to another unit. So he will not be looked at to lock in, he'll just sit there just now. What else we got that's not moved? Is that it? No. Unit 6 has alright, hang on. In actual fact, hang on. Well, but we know he can't move, Grant. We know he can't move because he's holding a strange supply situation. I'm just thinking, could he come around and surround, but then I actually didn't consider that for surround, because I'm not sure if he could reach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, he can't actually reach. Maybe we looked at that already. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nah, 7 into there. But he's not going to move away because it's going to leave the supply issue. So he can't find anything. Unit 2 would not be able to move either. These are kind of stuck at the moment. Till something kind of changes. Yeah, third tank I can see. All I can see third tank kind of doing is gathering round here and then trying to. But then we go into the next turn. All these stacks of units are then isolated, and you know. I mean, we did. I don't think I've drawn a card with. What is it? Air supply. But we do have this, you know. So I could use air supply on one of these stacks. But I would then need. Yeah, it's probably a bit hopeless, isn't it? Right, moving on, because I want to add this onto the part that I've got before I start looking at combat checks. Right, so that was movement method 8, wasn't it? Fast. Yeah, 26 wasn't able. Yeah, that's it. Relieve a garrison, move to a garrison hex targeted for the active front to which a German unit is proximate or German supply can be traced, and to which Soviet supply can be traced, and descending order as well. Well, 30's moved. 26. And there's not any garrisons nearby for him anyway to consider. Yeah. And then unit 6 here. Well, actually, hang on. Is this a possibility? I don't know if there's garrisons. If he was to move to that garrison, because that would hold. Yeah, he might do this actually. Right, well, let's have a look. What was the condition for this? Move to a garrison hex targeted for the active front. It's not. It's not targeted for any front. Oh well. Yeah, well, it's not. It's just a village that's not targeted for either front. And it's not even one of the ones that have like got a bit of both in them. It's just the empty brown square. I think he might have actually moved there and still been able to hold the supply issue. Right, okay, well he can't. There's nobody else. No. Well, the guy in Poltava, but well, we've already said that's not for the active front. Neither is that one. And again, if he moved away from there, right? No. 10. Follow movement arrows. If the unit occupies the hex, a movement arrow move. Yeah, it's just the same, isn't it? So in ascending order, unit 2 is not going to do that. He's not got arrows. Unit 6. Well, he moved his arrows to get to this hex actually, didn't he? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he's not able to spend them all. So that leaves unit 26, however. It looks like he's going to head off, yeah. So 26, braking zone and control is 1, 2. Right, hang on, there's a couple of options, I suppose. Right, yeah, there's the 3 possibles. He didn't have a secondary arrow in his hex, no. So 1, 2, 3, 4 with primary arrows. 1, 2, 3, 4, deviate in the back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's it. So prefer move the ends in an unoccupied hex. Yes, they're all unoccupied. Furthest in hexes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they're all the same. Follows primary movement arrows. Well, this was the one that followed the arrows. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's where he's going to go. From where he was, no issues there, I don't think. No, it doesn't really put him in any place where he's going to be able to do anything, is he? Not really, no. Right, that's the last one for that. So then we've got final movement methods is 11, which is proximate to German VP hex. Now we've only got one unit to consider here. Can he move back to Valky? Did he move from Valky? He did, didn't he? He moved from Valky with movement method 10 and he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to keep the supply. Well, I actually think move to hex in which a moving unit becomes proximate to a German VPX target for the active front. If I move him back to there, but then is he? It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, we would be now. There's a thought. Proximate takes. Yeah, it does. It considers stacking, doesn't it? Proximate. I'm sure it does. We shall find out just now. Movement restrictions are taken into account and determined proximity. These include terrain, enemy units, sand zone of control, supply state, and stacking limits. Yeah. So if we move them to here, although he can, Yeah, if we move them back into Valky, although he's proximate to reach that hex, there's 5 steps already in that hex. And if you move back to Valky, he wouldn't be able to, or actually, hang on, 1, 2, 3. No, he can't reach, can he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5, and then yeah, he can't get around the other side. And the reason that I've got to say Valky because I can't move him any further. Although he's got movement to get to maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, he could reach this hex and then probably be proximate to Kharkov. But then that leaves that supply issue again. So no, I don't think he can move with that method at all. Become proximate to a German VP hex target for the active front, and that's the only VP hex we've got targeted for Bornus front. So yeah, if there was a space in that hex, he would move back to Valky, but there's not, so he can't. Okay. Right. Okay. I'm gonna stop that there. That is all the movement completed, hopefully correctly, but you never know. And what I'm going to do is put that together with that other part and just upload that as a part. I know there's maybe not an awful lot to look at here combat wise, but it's going to be too long of a video, I think, if I take it on. I think there's probably a chance, maybe not Kharkov itself, but there's probably a chance an attack might go ahead on this back here. I think that's quite possible. Okay, I'll be back with the next part shortly. I'm going to hopefully just start it right away. But I'll put this other part and start getting it together. Okay, be back soon. Cheers.